So let's talk about your daily routine. What does your typical day look like? Well, I usually wake up around 6:30 in the morning. It's become a habit. When I wake up, I usually pray first and then I get ready and I get my kids' lunches ready. And then after that, I feed them breakfast and I drop them off at school. I go to the gym and then I start work around 10 a.m. every day. How has your routine changed from since you were younger? Oh, my routine has changed drastically from when I was younger. When I was younger, I never knew the value of time, so I'd waste a lot of time. But now that I've become a mother of two children, I always try to get my errands and my tasks out of the way before my children get back home from school. Do you do anything different on weekends compared to weekdays? Oh, yes, for sure. On weekdays, I'm pretty firm on my routine and very disciplined on the tasks I need to get done. However, on weekends, I'm a bit more lenient because my family's home and we just like to enjoy time together, eat breakfast together, and spend the day going out and making memories. What do you usually do in the mornings before you start your day? In the mornings, I usually like to get up early, pray, and enjoy my morning coffee. After dropping off my kids, I like to go for a quick workout before I start work. Do you dream often? I'd say I do dream sometimes. It's usually when I'm thinking about something the night prior to is when I usually dream about it, where you thought about something and now you're dreaming about it. Do you think we could learn anything about dreams? Yes, I do feel dreams have a connection with how you are feeling about something, especially emotionally. So usually when you're thinking about something and then you dream about it, then you know it's either really bothering you or really on your mind. So you should definitely take heed of this sign where you thought about something and now you're dreaming about it. All right, let's talk about emails. What type of work emails do you usually receive? Well, since I'm an ESL professor, I usually receive emails from students requesting assignment extensions or just letting me know that they cannot attend class due to some medical issue or emergency they have. Do you reply to emails right away? My take on emails is usually I reply within 24 to 48 hours just to ensure that everyone receives a response from me. In case there is an urgent email, I will get to it right away. Do you enjoy receiving promotional emails? To be honest, I do not enjoy receiving promotional emails just because it makes my inbox very spammy and very uncontrollable. Like you get so many emails, it's hard to track which is from who. Let's talk about exercise. How often do you work out? I usually try to get to the gym about 3 to 4 times a week, or if I cannot go to the gym for whatever reason, I try to do a quick YouTube workout from home, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, either whether it's HIIT or weight training. What do you think is the best form of exercise to stay fit? I've tried so many different forms of exercise. However, I seem to be always running back to high intensity interval training. This is very quick movements and your heart races literally within 5 minutes of starting your workout, and I really enjoy those workouts. Has exercise changed since you were younger? I'd say I don't think the types of exercise has changed much since I was younger. However, I do feel the promotional aspect on social media has changed the way people look at exercise because people usually tend to fall over their certain social media influencers and they want to be like them. So I'd say it's changed in that aspect. Can you describe a time when you enjoyed visiting family and friends? Yes, definitely. I actually had a big family reunion last summer in California where I saw my entire extended family after 8 years of being away from them. And it was just so nice because our kids got to meet each other for the first time and we just cherished those memories together. Now let's talk about family celebrations. When do families usually get together in your culture? So usually in my culture, families usually get together for weddings or ceremonies or New Year's. They get together, they enjoy time together, or even sometimes families get together when maybe a family member is visiting out of town. So they have family dinners so everybody could see each other and just cherish those memories and enjoy spending time with one another with good food on the table. Why do you think some people don't enjoy family gatherings? You know, this is a funny question. I definitely say some people don't enjoy family gatherings, mainly because I feel like there is no limit to the types of questions certain family members ask. They may assume, oh, just because so and so is my family member, I can ask them these personal questions. And it just makes the situation a bit uncomfortable for one or the other. That's why I feel certain people don't enjoy family gatherings. Do you think it's important for parents to help their children with their homework? Yes, definitely. I think it is important for parents to help their children with homework or at least guide them to the right answer without giving them the right answer spot on. I think it's important that children think about the answer before asking for help as well, because it's a learning curve for them, but the parents should definitely be aware what their children are learning. How about family dinners? Do you think it's important that you attend a family dinner? Absolutely. I think family dinners is very important because this is a very sacred time for you to get to know your children, your spouse, just discuss your day, get some stress off your mind, because after a long day, I think it's important that you reconnect with your family and you actually remember the purpose of life. Do you believe that everyone in the family should share household chores? Yes, I definitely think it is essential that families do share household chores, especially because this teaches children and disciplines them that families need to work together and they also need to pitch in and help one another in the home. How do you usually spend your free time on weekdays? During weekdays, when I have some free time, I like to go for nature walks or I like to just wind down and read a book. Great, so now let's talk about social activities. Do you like spending time with friends? Yes, I actually enjoy spending time with friends here and there. However, I prefer to spend time with my kids and my family a lot more than my friends. What do you usually do when you meet your friends? When I meet my friends, we usually go out for dinner and we like to go for a walk afterwards. Do you prefer to spend time with a few close friends or a group of people? For me, I prefer having a small group of people and just sticking to them and spending time with them. Describe a memorable trip you took. You should say where you went, who you went with, and what you did. And also explain why you found it memorable. Sir, last year I actually took a family trip to Vancouver. Vancouver is such a beautiful city to visit. There are so many mountains in Vancouver. Every view is stunning. Honestly, I've lived in Canada all my life, but I've never visited anywhere outside of Ontario, so this was my first time. Some things we did is we actually visited a beautiful bridge. I forget the name at the moment, but it was such a beautiful sight to see because when you cross the bridge, there's mountains on one side and trees on the other side. You could actually walk around the mountain. They have some sort of stairs they've made. So it's just so breathtaking. I can't even explain. I think it was memorable because it was a trip that I took with my family, and my son really enjoyed it as well because we also visited the aquarium and we saw penguins and seals and whales. So this was a very memorable trip for my entire family, and I'll never forget this experience. Describe a memorable childhood memory. You should say what the memory is, who was involved, and why you remember it so clearly. Well, when I was younger, I'll never forget, I used to be outside from sunrise to sunset with my cousins playing around our townhouse. These days were so much fun because we would always pick up toys, pick up trees, help raise animals like cats. We'd actually give the cats some milk because we found that they were hungry, and we found where exactly the cats would give birth to kittens. So we'd always decide to buy cat food for the kittens to help raise them. One fond memory I have when I was a child is every time I came home, there would be a nice aroma, nice smell of delicious food. God bless my mother, who would always make us a meal every evening. So when we have a long day outside, we'd come home to a delicious meal. I really remember and cherish these moments because my cousins actually literally lived a 5-minute walk from my house, and we cherish so many memories together. And now that we have kids, we love to make those memories with our own kids so they could cherish those memories forever and become close with one another. Describe a skill you want to learn. You should say what the skill is, why you want to learn it, and how you plan to learn it. I've actually always wanted to learn how to swim. I'm actually truthfully very afraid of water, so I think it's important to overcome your fear, especially with water. So one way I plan to learn swimming is I actually have a swimming pool in my condominium downstairs. So if I actually sacrifice at least an hour or two every night and I go down there with my kids and my husband, I think I would definitely eventually pick it up. But truthfully, I get lazy sometimes to go down there and to practice swimming and then go through the whole hassle of getting ready and everything like that. But I think swimming is definitely a very important life skill to know and also to learn. And this is my plan on how to learn it. Describing a person you admire. You should say who the person is, why you admire them, what qualities they have. I actually deeply admire my mother. My mother is a very hardworking woman. When she arrived to Canada, the only skill she had is sewing. She knew how to sew clothes, she knew how to hem pants, shorten curtains. So without knowing a word of English, she still decided to proceed with opening a business and an alteration store. While she opened her alteration store, she was able to succeed because she was so talented in what she did. People didn't care if she knew English or not. They just cared about her mastery of knowing how to sew. Other than that, my mother has qualities of being loving and caring towards her children and always worried about them and concerned for their well-being. She's my inspiration because now that I am a mother, I want to give the same love and affection to my kids and show them that mothers are the most valuable asset in this world. Describe an unforgettable event. You should say what the event was, where it was, and why it was unforgettable. An event I'll never forget is my university graduation. My university graduation is something I will always cherish forever, is because I actually decided to go back to school when I became a mother. Amidst all the difficulties of being in university while being a mother, a wife, I never gave up on my dreams of becoming an ESL professor. So I definitely say my university graduation was something I'll never forget, because both of my children actually were there to watch me walk across the stage to receive my degree. So this is something just so amazing, and I'll cherish forever. Describe a time you helped someone. Who you helped, what the situation was, and how you felt afterwards. A few months ago, I actually helped my neighbor set up her new furniture she bought from IKEA. She had a lot of new pieces, like 3 beds for herself and her kids, and a few computer table and coffee table. So I decided to offer to help her set up the furniture so she could get the ball rolling a lot more quick. It was a really rewarding experience to help her, especially because she's a single mom with 2 young ones. So I wanted to make her life a lot easier by either watching her kids or helping her with her furniture. So I decided to do a little bit of both. I think it's very important to help others when they are in need, because this will come back to you, and it actually just creates a positive environment. As I mentioned earlier, it was a very rewarding experience to help her, but I felt so good once I helped her and I saw her furniture everywhere. I felt like, what if I was, God forbid, going through this? I would definitely want somebody to help me. So it felt really nice to help my neighbor. Describe an important decision you made. What was the decision? What was the decision? Why you made it? What was the result of it? A few years ago, I actually decided to go on a really strict routine. I wouldn't even call it a diet. I would say a routine where I was working out 4 to 5 times a week, and I was on a strict sugar cut diet. So I wasn't having any sugar at all. I was still eating carbs, and this actually helped me not only lose weight, but it actually helped me build a lot of strength, because I was doing a lot of strength training. It was really important for me to build strength, especially because I want to be there for my children, and I want to be there to be able to take care of them as well as take care of myself. I think choosing a healthy lifestyle is essential for us, is because as we age, it gets a lot more difficult to lift grocery bags or lift heavy things. So if you are able to choose a healthy lifestyle and live by it, this would definitely benefit you in the long run. Describe a hobby you enjoy. You should say what the hobby is, how often you do it, and why you enjoy it. The funny thing is, one of my hobbies are to make YouTube videos. I find it to be very rewarding to help English language learners around the world practice their IELTS speaking, and also to pass their exams so they can live a better life abroad. And the time I make YouTube videos actually fits my schedule, because I try to make the videos while my kids are in school, even though it's a big process. So I actually make the videos, but I do not edit the videos, because I actually have a wonderful editor who will be editing this video, who helps me make my videos look flawless. Describe a place where you would like to visit. Where is the place? Why you want to visit there, and who do you want to go with? I've actually always wanted to visit Japan, especially during the cherry blossom season. Cherry blossoms are beautiful trees that you can see, and we actually have one or two in Canada, but I know in Japan they are just so beautiful. I also heard the Japanese culture, the people are very disciplined and very routine oriented, especially throughout primary years of the kids. And I think this is so amazing that they have this type of culture, and it's so much I can learn from. I'd like to visit Japan with my family and my children because I think it's important for them to experience such a culture and to learn from others, because this is how we are molded and we become better people. Describe a goal you achieved. You should say what the goal was, why you wanted to achieve it, and how you achieved it. One of my biggest goals were actually running a 5-kilometer race. And the funny thing is, it wasn't just a typical race, it was actually a 5-kilometer mud girl race. This was so much fun because we had to go through different obstacles that had mud all over. So while you are trying to get to the finish line, you are covered in mud from head to toe. It was so much fun, and it felt so good once I got to the 5-kilometer race line because I actually experienced this memorable event with both my sister and my niece, who was 9 years old at the time. And oh yeah, by the way, she did such an amazing job because she got to the finish line. Can you tell me what the weather is like where you live?
Yes, of course. So it's currently fall here in Toronto. Fall is so beautiful in Canada, especially trees change different colors and there's so many beautiful things to see in fall. Also, the weather is just perfect. It's not too hot or not too cold during the fall in Canada, so it's great right now.
Do you prefer hot or cold weather?
To be quite frank, I prefer weather that's on the cooler side just because sometimes when it gets too hot, it's a bit unbearable out there. However, when it gets too cold, it's also not so good because the winters in Canada are quite cold. So I'd say I prefer temperature that's in between hot and cold.
Do you check the weather forecast often?
Yes, I do check the forecast every day before I go out, just because I want to make sure I'm not underdressed or overdressed and my kids don't get sick.
How do you think the weather affects your daily activities?
I'd say the weather does affect my daily activities quite a bit because I usually like to take my kids to the park and the park is outside. So if it's too cold out, I would not plan to take them outside. However, if the weather is bearable and it's not so cold, then definitely we take them to the park.
Have you noticed any changes with the weather in your area the past few years?
Oh, yeah, I'd say about 10 years or even 15 years ago, the winters used to be very cold in Canada, literally minus 30 Celsius. Or maybe minus 20 Celsius, I should say. However, in the past 5 years, I'd say the weather in wintertime is not as harsh as it used to be. So I have noticed a drastic change in the weather in the past years.
Describe a sport that you enjoy watching. You should say what the sport is, why you enjoy watching it, and who you watch it with. Now you can begin.
So on a day-to-day basis, I'd say I don't really enjoy watching any sports. However, during the FIFA World Cup, I really enjoyed soccer because it just brought friends and family together and just to watch it and to enjoy time. Soccer is a fun sport because it's very fast-paced. So that way, you're entertained the whole time because if the one team is trying to kick the ball in the net, and the other teammate actually steals the ball, it just gets so exciting. So I definitely say soccer is a sport I really enjoy watching. During the FIFA World Cup, we'd actually go to an outdoor area where they'd have a big TV and everybody just get together and watch the game together, because it happened during a time where the weather was perfect, so the kids were able to play in the field while the parents watch the game and cheer their teams on.
What are the most popular sports in your country?
I'd say the most popular sports in my country are hockey and basketball. Hockey is very popular in Canada because lots of people enjoy watching hockey as well as playing it.
Do you think children should play sports at a young age?
Yes, I do believe it's important for children to play sports when they are younger because it builds confidence in them, and it also has so many other benefits like learning how to play as a team, teamwork skills, and also just learning how to have hand-eye coordination, which is such a good essential skill.
What do you think the role of technology has played in watching and playing sports?
I think technology has played a great role on teaching people how to play sports as well as watching sports. Now, for instance, you could even watch YouTube videos on how to score the best goal in soccer, for example, and you could literally learn certain techniques off YouTube to learn how to be a better soccer player. And on the other hand, with watching sports, it's made it so much more accessible to just stream a game that you wanted to watch and watch it from your device.
In your opinion, how important is physical activity in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle?
Research shows that physical activity has lots of benefits, and more than anything, it improves your mood and it also helps you live longer and stay healthy. So I definitely say physical activity plays a huge role on staying healthy throughout your life.
What can be done to encourage people to play more sports?
I'd say to make sports more fun and maybe use some technology to make sports. For example, I think it's the Wii system. It has certain sports games you can play on Wii, like golfing, I think. And this is a way to encourage kids to play more sports, is by using a sense of technology so they become more interested, more excited, and then they could move up to playing actual sports.
So one word you can use is tourist. So a tourist is when someone visits somewhere for a holiday. So we usually refer to a tourist as someone who visits a particular area for a holiday or a vacation. So you would not say you are a tourist if you are visiting an area where you live, rather an area where you are vacationing in. So here is a sample sentence you can use when you are using the word tourist. I really enjoyed being a tourist when I visited New York City last September. So the second word you could use is sightseeing. Sightseeing refers to visiting the popular areas of the place you are on holiday. So if you want to use sightseeing in your vocabulary when describing vacationing, you could say something like, there are so many areas for sightseeing in New York City. You could see the Statue of Liberty, Madison Square Garden, and Times Square. And the third word you can use is road trip. Road trip pretty much means when you go on a trip using your car as the method of transportation. You can use this particular word as, I went on a road trip to New York City with my husband. It took me 9 hours to get there from Toronto. And the next word is accommodation.
Accommodation pretty much means your living area or living space when you are traveling somewhere. So you can use accommodation by saying something like, the accommodation we stayed at in New York City was a 5-star hotel located right in the middle of Times Square. Now let's look at some words you can use that relate to the process of booking or planning your trip when you are going on vacation. The first word is all-inclusive. All-inclusive refers to when the price of something is included in one particular price. So we can use the word all-inclusive as an example sentence saying, our trip to Jamaica was all-inclusive. The price was $2,000. The price included the flight, the hotel, and our food for 3 times a day. And the next word you could use is travel visa. Travel visa refers to when you are required to apply for certain documentation to enter a particular country. So sometimes our passports don't allow us to go from one country to the next until we apply for a travel visa or a tourist visa. So this is a word that you can use in your IELTS speaking answer if you are talking about the booking process of your vacation. So how you can use tourist visa or travel visa in your sentences, you could say something like, we had to apply for a travel visa for our visit to Malaysia. All we had to do is send our passports to the embassy. So another word you can use to explain your booking process is round trip. Round trip means when you are describing a particular journey you are taking where you are going to it and you are coming back. So a sample sentence you could use with the word round trip is, you can say, the round trip cost to Turkey cost me $2,000. So another word you could use is window seat. Window seat refers to the seat that is next to the window in the plane. So if you want to explain to the examiner you booked a window seat specifically because you enjoy that seat, or you may have a particular preference of a window seat, then you could explain this word by saying, I chose a window seat when I booked my flight to Malaysia. I really enjoy seeing the plane take off and land at my destination. And another word you could use is boarding pass. Boarding pass refers to the ticket that you are given when you check in at the airport desk. You could use this word by saying, it took me 2 hours to stand in line and receive my boarding pass before taking a flight to Malaysia. If you have a question about your education and you are describing what type of course you are taking or what type of program, you can use a word such as condensed course. Condensed course refers to a course that is shortened, but the work is crammed in a short period of time. So if the examiner asks you a question about your education and you want to impress him by using high vocabulary language, then you could say something like, I am currently taking a condensed course that has been shortened from 12 weeks to 6 weeks. You could use another word, synchronous classes. Synchronous classes. Say it with me. Synchronous classes. Synchronous classes refers to when a class is online, so it's on the internet. However, the class is live and you are expected to show up on a particular day at a particular time to sign on your computer and get into the class. I have synchronous classes every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. And another vocabulary word you could say is asynchronous classes. So the first one is synchronous classes, which is live classes online. And the second one is asynchronous or asynchronous class. So asynchronous classes means pretty much a class that is offered through distance education, which is also online, and where you could sign on any time of the day. The professor is not expecting you to sign on at a particular time. However, you need to make sure you get work done by a particular date that the professor has planned out for you in the syllabus. So you can say, I am currently taking 3 asynchronous classes that are biology, chemistry, and math. So another vocabulary word you can use is if you are taking a program that requires you to be in school for 4 years, you are most likely achieving your bachelor's degree. So a bachelor's degree is once again a higher education degree that you would receive if you are studying for 4 years. Usually this is the first step in university. So if you want to use the word bachelor's degree in your vocabulary to explain your situation, you can say something like, I am currently studying for my bachelor's in science at York University, or something like, I am currently achieving my bachelor's degree in mathematics at the University of Toronto. And another vocabulary word you can use is tuition fee. Tuition fee pretty much refers to the cost of your program or your course you are taking. So if you want to use the word tuition fee in your answer, you can say something like, the current tuition fee I am paying for my bachelor's degree is $5,000 a semester. So one vocabulary word you can use is window shopping. Window shopping refers to you going to the mall and just browsing around stores without having any intention to buy anything. So you come out of the mall with nothing in your hand because all you did was go to the mall to just have a look and browse around. So here's a sample sentence of using window shopping. I went to the West Oak Mall on Thursday just to browse around and do some window shopping. And another word you can use is browsing through the stores. Browsing through the stores refers to looking at each aisle when you enter a store in the mall. Or not in a mall, any store. You just go through every aisle, you look around, see what's there. And to sample a sentence, you can use this word. I was browsing through the store when I saw the most gorgeous shirt I had to buy. This is a funny sentence because this is a typical lady who goes to the mall and says this to her husband. I was browsing through the store when I saw a shirt I just had to buy. I couldn't let go of it. And another word is clearance. Clearance usually means an item that has been marked down and is a lot cheaper than the original cost. You can use this word in a sentence by saying, I went to the store and I bought the nicest outfit that was marked down on clearance. The price was only $15 in comparison to $45. And another word that you could describe a situation is brand names. Brand names usually refers to a piece of clothing or a piece of item that is known because of its reputation on its name, such as Nike, Adidas, Reebok. We all know that these are brand names right when we see their symbols. A sentence you could use the word brand names is you could say something like, Marshall's is a department store that carries brand names for a very cheap price. And tight budget. Tight budget often refers to when you are explaining that you are short on money, or you are being very careful with your money. So you can use tight budget when you are explaining this situation. I went to the mall on Thursday, but I was on a tight budget, so I didn't pick up anything in the mall.
Are you working or studying at the moment? I am currently studying and I'm working part-time in the evenings at the mall at a shoe store. Where do you currently work? I'm actually studying to be a radiologist in college. Radiologists usually do jobs like ultrasound technician, and I find this to be very fun. Can you describe the area where you live? I'm actually currently living in the city center, which I love because everything is so convenient and accessible. What do you like about your hometown? I really like my hometown for the multiculturalism. I think it's important that we learn from one another and just come together and just appreciate each other's culture, especially each other's food, and just our beliefs. Where do you live? I'm currently living in Toronto, which is a big city located in Ontario, Canada. What kind of place is your hometown? So I actually grew up in a small city by the name of Guelph. Guelph actually has lots of parks and beautiful greenery and farmland. It's a very beautiful, quiet place. How often do you visit your hometown? I visit my hometown quite often, maybe like 3 to 4 times a month, because I still have lots of family and friends there. Do you prefer living in the city or the countryside? I prefer living in the city mainly because it's accessible to all grocery stores and the transportation is a lot more accessible in the city, but I do like to relax by the countryside sometimes. Now let's move on to talk about your daily routine. Do you usually have a busy day? Yes, my weekdays are usually quite busy between picking up my kids, dropping them off, going to work myself, getting dinner ready. So it's quite busy during the weekdays. Do you enjoy spending time with your family? Yes, I definitely say I really enjoy spending time with my family, especially because I have 2 kids and just seeing them grow up so fast makes me want to cherish those memories and really appreciate the time that I have with them. Do you have any interests or hobbies? Yes, definitely. I'd say one hobby I really have is going to the gym or going for nature walks. Especially currently because it is fall and the trees are so beautiful and they're all different colors, so it's just so beautiful to see. How do you usually spend your weekends? During the weekends, I usually take it easy and I allow my kids to relax at home. I usually make a nice lunch for my family and we just spend time together and enjoy these memories. Do you prefer going out or staying home? That's a funny question. I actually prefer doing both. I enjoy staying home, but I also enjoy stepping out and just getting some fresh air and some change of scenery. But then I always end up wanting to come back home and just get into my pajamas and be relaxed. Describe a time when you helped someone. You should tell me who you helped, what you did, and where were you when you helped them, as well as how you helped this individual. So someone I remember helping was my neighbor. My neighbor actually needed help with her groceries. My neighbor actually bought a few pieces of new furniture from IKEA. So she had a few boxes that she needed help with. So I decided to lend her my wagon, which she was able to put all her boxes in the wagon and bring them up. Once she brought them up to her apartment, I actually asked her if she needed help assembling these furniture pieces. I actually decided to go to her apartment and assist her in assembling her new bed and her new coffee table. I think it's so important to help others, especially because, it may come back to you in a different form. I think my neighbor was really appreciative that I did help her because coming up with all those boxes alone is quite difficult. I mean, if I needed help, I would always hope that somebody would assist me if they see me struggling. That's why I think it's really important to help others because it just creates a positive environment for everyone. In your opinion, why do people help others? I think the reason why people help others is number one, it's from the goodness of their heart. So there's no reason why they do it specifically, but it's just their upbringing and what they were taught when they were younger. It's to help others, which is why they lend a helping hand when somebody is in need. Do you think people in the city are more likely to help people than the countryside? Yes, I'd say it depends on the time of day. Like, I currently live in this city and I notice that people are in a big rush during like 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. when they are just trying to get to work. So if someone doesn't help you for a particular reason, it may be because they are in a rush. So I'd say people do tend to help more in the city than the countryside. But it just depends on the situation. What kinds of help do people usually offer to their friends and family? I'd say some help people offer is maybe cooking them a dinner if they have a sick family member who is maybe pregnant or ill with some illness. Then maybe a family member would cook for them or come to their home and help them clean their apartment, or maybe helping them babysit their kids. So these are just some examples of how we can help our family members and friends. How has the way people help each other changed over the years? I'd say with technology taking over everybody's life, help has kind of changed because people don't even notice when somebody needs assistance on the road because they might just be so concentrated or focused on their mobile device that they didn't even notice the person is hurt or the person needs assistance. So I'd say technology has changed from recent years and the way people help others. And what are the advantages of volunteering? I'd say some advantages of volunteering are number one, giving back to your community. Giving back to your community is so essential because everybody has a time in need in their life. Nobody has had it easy except if you are the kids or something. So when you are established, I think helping others who are in need are very essential because it just makes you feel good and you remember the purpose of life. Do you think government should encourage people to volunteer more? Yes, I definitely think that the government should be encouraging people to volunteer more, but also providing some incentive for individuals who volunteer. So, for example, maybe they could earn some credits that will help them towards a degree or a diploma if they volunteer. So I definitely think that the government should be encouraging volunteering more. Now let's talk about food. What types of food do you like to eat? I like spicy food, especially different curries. I find it to be very delicious. Do you think your diet has changed compared to when you were a child? Yes, I'd say my diet has changed from when I was a child because I try to eat more healthy foods. How often do you eat out at restaurants? I try to get takeout once or twice a week, and usually I like to try different meals every time. Describe a time you helped someone. You should say who you helped, what you did, and how you helped them. Please start speaking now. I want to talk about a time that I helped my neighbor Nancy. Nancy actually needed some help with her groceries, so I carry the bags for Nancy who needed help with her groceries. When I helped Nancy, I felt really good because I know she does need some assistance with her groceries. So I decided to hold her bags for her and actually take it up to her unit because I know she needed some assistance. I think it's important to help others, especially because if they are in need and they are elderly, they may need your assistance in carrying grocery bags or even helping them taking it up to their unit. It made me realize that these small acts actually make others feel so good and it actually makes their day. So I'd like to help others a lot more often than usual. Now let's move on to part 3. We're going to discuss more about helping others. What are some benefits of helping others? Helping others makes you feel good and the other person feel good. I think it actually creates a positive environment because you are just sharing your love and your assistance with others. Do you think it's important to teach children to help others? Yes, I think it's very important for their development to help others and to learn how to ask for help when they need help. So even though they help others, they may need help themselves one day. Is it better to help others through face-to-face or through online support? I think both are important, whether it's online or in person. I think helping in general is important, especially because maybe some elderly may not know how to use online devices. So helping them even with their iPad or paying their bank statements, it's also a form of help. Why do some people hesitate to ask for help? Some people hesitate because they don't want to burden other people with what they need help in. So this is why I think some people hesitate to ask others for help. Do you live in a house or an apartment? I live in an apartment close to the city center. It's very close to public transportation, which is essential for my day-to-day needs as I do not have a car. What's your favorite room in your home? I'd say my favorite room in my house is my living room because I just love that I have big windows in my apartment, in my living room. I just feel that it's so beautiful to see the trees outside of my window. Who do you live with? Is there anything you'd like to change about your homes? What sports are popular in your country? I would say hockey is quite popular in Canada. It's the national sport of Canada. So many people enjoy getting together and watching a hockey game or attending a hockey game together. Do you play any sports? Not as much as I used to. I prefer running now more than playing sports just because I feel like I like to connect with nature and listen to a podcast or some music while I go for a run. Let's talk about clothes. What kind of clothes do you wear? I like to keep things casual most of the time. I really enjoy wearing pants that are loose with either a hoodie or if I'm feeling like I want to dress up a little, I like to wear a nice, elegant dress. So imagine the examiner asks you a question like, describe a book you read recently. Who told you about it? How did you find out about it? And what did you think about it? Here's a sample answer I would respond with. A few months ago, I actually read a book called Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a book that actually teaches you about the value of time and how exactly you need to stay disciplined in order to get your tasks done throughout the day. I think it's so essential that we notice how much time we waste on a daily basis and how exactly we should spend our time wisely. I actually found out about this book through another YouTuber I follow by the name of Ali Abdal. Ali Abdal is a great influencer for many as he actually teaches you about productivity and how exactly you can manage your time. I really enjoyed the book and I feel that I've learned so much about time management and how exactly to plan your day accordingly after I read this book. So this is one book that I would recommend everyone to read so that way you know how exactly you need to manage your time and how exactly you can get all your tasks done within a day just by planning out your day with a journal.
Describe your favorite picture. Who took the picture? Where was it taken? What can you see from the picture? And why was this picture something you liked? I'll never forget the most amusing photo taken of my mom and dad at my wedding. The photographer had captured this moment perfectly, especially because the incident that happened at that moment was definitely something to remember. The funny thing was, my father was actually originally taking the photo of my mom and brother while I was cutting the cake. But then my brother called my father last minute to get in the photo while he stepped out. So my brother ended up taking the photo of my parents and me. So my brother takes a photo of me cutting the cake. Where we had our wedding was at the most gorgeous banquet hall called Paradise Banquets. My wedding reception was very formal and in the evening, which was located north of Toronto. The waiter had put the cake on a cake table located in the reception hall, and the space was a bit narrow, so it was hard to move around. So my father was trying to feed me a piece of chocolate cake that I cut when a big piece of cake fell on my dress and the photographer snapped the photo at the perfect moment. It's because my mom was trying to clean my dress in the photo, but you see a huge stain on my dress in the picture. The picture is such a humorous and memorable moment, especially because my wedding was such a sentimental day. The funny thing was, I was not upset at all when the incident happened. Honestly, it's definitely a picture to remember and to have a good laugh about. At least now we have something to look back on every time we want to remember my wedding day. So let's look at some vocabulary words. Funny moment, something to remember, at the banquet hall, memorable moment, sentimental day, a picture to remember. These are certain vocabulary words that we are going to discuss in our IELTS Speaking Part 2 question to score a high band. What was a recent meal you recently enjoyed? What was it? Where did you eat it? Who you were with? And why you enjoyed it? So take a look at the sample answer. One of the best meals I ever had was dinner at a small Italian restaurant in my city. I decided to go with the pesto pasta and also I decided to have the tiramisu cake. It was located in a downtown area which was very easily accessible. I actually went there with my best friend Sarah because we both love Italian food and it gave us a chance to catch up on life. I really enjoyed this meal because the food was amazing and the whole experience was perfect. The salad was very fresh and the tiramisu was sweet and creamy. The staff were very welcoming and I had a great night with good company. The use of language I chose was words like cozy, warm atmosphere, creamy tiramisu. As you listened to the answer, you probably realized that I did not use any big vocabulary words because this is not necessary in your IELTS speaking test.
Talk about a time you received good news. What was the news about? Why it was good news and how you felt. The good news was my husband got his new passport. Why it was good news? Because it allowed us to travel freely without worrying about visa issues. And how I felt about it was I was excited. And how I felt about it was I was excited because it opened up new opportunities for us. I received fantastic news last year right before the Christmas holidays. My husband had received his Canadian passport, which was so exciting. This might not seem like a big deal for many, but for us, it was life-changing. As someone who is a Canadian citizen myself, it took years for him to get his documents. Without it, we were actually limited to traveling to his home country and just visiting different parts of the world. To celebrate this, we actually booked a trip to Portugal so that way we can enjoy all the times we missed because of him not having his passport. It was truly a special moment because this marked new adventures for me and my family. Describe an outdoor activity you recently tried. What was it, how it was, and why you chose it? So here's exactly how I would prepare my answer for 1 minute. So I would literally just write a few points. So what it was, hiking in the mountains, when and where it happened. It happened in Vancouver, British Columbia, and why it was memorable because I discovered new hiking trails. An outdoor activity I recently tried with my children was hiking through the mountains of beautiful British Columbia. At first, I was a bit hesitant to take my children to a place that was so highly elevated. However, after experiencing the beautiful scenic views, this was so breathtaking and such a memorable trip for both myself and my children. I was amazed by all the beautiful areas we were able to stop and see along the way. We saw so many bears from a distance, which was so scary at the same time, but so beautiful. It was incredible, yet a bit bittersweet because this was the first time I was actually hiking as a family with my children. I was so inspired by the experience that when I came back to Ontario, I booked our flight back to British Columbia sometime in the summer. Describe a time your travel plans were canceled. What happened, how you handled it, and where you were going. So this is how my cue cards would look. Road trip to Montreal, how you handled it. I was upset, but I knew it was God's plan. And who was going? I was going with my family. So recently, our road trip to Montreal was canceled. We live about 6 hours drive to Montreal, and I was really hoping to spend the weekend there with my family. However, the morning we woke up to drive to Montreal, we realized that something was wrong with our car. There was lots of noises coming out of the exhaust, and we were just wondering what exactly the issue was. I knew that this was God's plan of telling us maybe he was protecting us from something bigger. So even though I was a bit upset, I knew to stay positive in this particular event, and I knew that I can go sometime in the future. Describe a person you'd like to work with. Who is it, why you admire them, and what you'd learn. This is how my 1 minute notes would look. So the person I'd love to work with is somebody by the name of Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is actually an entrepreneur and probably one of the richest entrepreneurs out there. He's actually the owner of a few NBA teams, which are basketball teams, and I'd be honored to work alongside him because I know that he would teach me so much about the business world and how exactly to run a successful business. One thing in particular he'd probably help me learn is how to strategically think and how exactly to target customers. Working with him would actually be an opportunity and make a meaningful impact. Talk about an unusual meal you've had. what the meal was, why it was unusual, and how you felt. So here's exactly how I would outline my 1 minute answer, and have a close listen at this band 9 response. So one meal I had accidentally, I would say, is calamari. I remember a long time ago when I visited Brooklyn, New York, a cousin of mine told me, let's go out to eat. When we arrived to the restaurant, he had ordered a lot of different appetizers and a lot of different meals. He surprisingly offered me some calamari, and I had no idea what it was at the time. So I decided to take a bite out of it, and I told him, wow, this is so delicious. What did you order? And little did I know that that was octopus legs, and I had no idea. I felt disgusted after he told me what it actually was, but I actually really enjoyed it because it was so tasteful, and that was my unusual meal that I would have never ordered if he left it up to me. Describe a law you find important. What the law is, why it's important, and how it impacts you. One law I deeply value is copyright law. Copyright law actually protects artists, creators, and authors from having their intellectual property being used. As someone who creates content online, I think it's so important to have this type of law because you never want someone to take your work and they get the credit for it. And this also prevents others from actually copying my blog posts, my YouTube videos, and any articles I write. Although I think this enforcement could be improved, I really appreciate how platforms like YouTube are able to detect this type of use very quickly. Copyright not only supports creativity, but it also upholds any fairness in the digital age. Describe a place you'd like to visit for a short trip. A place I'd love to visit for a short trip is Banff, Alberta. Oh my God, I've lived in Canada for over 35 years, but I'm ashamed to say that I've never ever visited Banff. Banff is known for its beautiful scenic views, mountainous views that have beautiful snow and beautiful parks. One park that I really want to visit is Banff National Park. This park is known for its stunning picturesque areas and also your ability to canoe in the beautiful water. One reason I really want to go there is because I've seen so many blogs and videos on this particular area, and honestly, it's just breathtaking. Some other attractions I'd love to see there is staying in the Fairmont Hotel, because apparently the view from the Fairmont to the mountains is just very beautiful. But because there's not much other things to do in Banff, I would only like to visit for a short amount of time, maybe 3 to 4 days maximum, just to see the area and all the beautiful scenic views. Describe a memorable person you've met. Who the person is, why they are memorable, and what I've learned from them. During my trip to Istanbul, Turkey, I actually met an 80-year-old man who told me that he swims for 1 hour every single day. I thought this was amazing, especially because you don't meet much 80-year-olds who are able to swim for that long of a period. He was very memorable and respected, not only because his swimming abilities, but just because his discipline and how he showed up to the pool every single day. This is one thing I really admire, is people who are routine oriented and disciplined in what they do. One thing I learned from this 80-year-old man is to always keep healthy and to stay active by doing something every single day, whether it's swimming or walking. Meeting him actually made me reflect on my own life choices and how exactly I show up to what I do every single day. Describe a positive change you've made in your life. What the change was, why you made it, and when you made it. A positive change I recently made was exercising in the morning. Thanks to my doctor's recommendation, after I told him I was feeling sluggish in the morning and a bit uneasy every morning, and I just felt so overwhelmed throughout my day, he actually recommended that I try going for walks or just going to the gym every morning. So this is what I decided to do, and now I go to the gym every morning for about an hour. I walk on the treadmill at an uphill incline. This has made me feel so much better throughout the day, and not only that, it's given me so much more energy and happy thoughts. I think most people don't realize that exercising has many benefits other than looking fit or looking skinny. It's what it makes you feel afterwards and how you go about your day with positive thoughts and a clear mind. So, this change is definitely a positive change I've made, and I can't thank my doctor enough for recommending it. Describe a time someone asked for your opinion. You should say what the opinion was, what advice you gave, and who you gave it to. Let me tell you about a time my father actually asked me for my opinion and my advice. I remember it was about 4 years ago when he wanted to gift my mother with something. So he had no idea what type of gift to buy her. So he wanted my opinion. He wanted to get her something within the range of $200 to $300. So I told him, or I advised him, to buy a set of earrings for her because I know that was always the safest option. I know my mother always loves earrings, so I decided to tell my father to choose earrings just because I know my mother would love wearing earrings. Since my father is not so good at picking out gifts, he decided to hand me the money and asked if I can go to the mall and choose a set of earrings for her. So I decided to go ahead to the mall and I FaceTimed him. I showed him the earrings just to make sure he also chose these earrings and he liked them. After I bought the gift, my father decided to surprise my mom with the new set of earrings, and she was so excited for her new gift.
Where are you from, Layla?
I'm actually from a small city called Maplewood. It's not too far from the capital, and it's known for its quiet neighborhoods and lots of greenery.
What do you like most about your hometown?
I think what I love most is a sense of community. People know each other, and there's this really welcoming vibe. Also, the air feels cleaner compared to big cities.
Is there anything you would change about it?
Uh, Maybe the public transportation. It's a bit limited, so if you don't drive, getting around could be really tricky.
Great. Let's chat about your work life. Are you a student or do you work?
Yeah, I'm currently a university student. I'm in my final year studying biomedical science.
Why did you choose that subject?
I've always been fascinated how the body works, and honestly, I wanted to study something that mixes research and helping people. It just felt like a great fit.
What's the most interesting part of your studies?
I really enjoy the lab work, doing experiments and, actually seeing how things react. It makes everything so much more real.
Do you prefer studying alone or with others?
I'd say it really depends. If I need to really focus, I like to study alone. But if I'm reviewing for an exam or I have some sort of group study, sometimes people explain things in a way that just clicks.
Let's talk about food. What kind of food do you usually eat?
I try to eat healthy, so usually simple homemade meals like rice with veggies and grilled chicken, nothing really fancy.
Do you enjoy cooking?
Yeah, I actually do enjoy cooking. It's kind of relaxing, And I like trying out new recipes when I have the time.
Is there a traditional food from your country that you like?
Yeah, I'd say I really love biryani. It's a spicy rice dish with a meat and a ton of flavor. Everyone makes it a little different, which is a bit cool.
Let's talk about your sleep. How many hours do you usually sleep?
Maybe around 6 or 7 hours. But honestly, I always try for more. But it doesn't always really happen.
Do you think sleep is more important?
Oh, yeah, for sure. If I don't sleep well, I feel super tired. I can't concentrate at all the next day.
What do you do to relax before you sleep?
I usually put my phone away and I just read or listen to something calm. Maybe something like soft music or a podcast. That honestly helps me wind down at night.
Okay, let's talk about traveling. Do you enjoy traveling?
Oh, yeah, I love traveling. It's the best way to see places and learn about new cultures. I always feel refreshed after a trip.
Where was the last place you traveled to?
I actually went to Istanbul last summer, and honestly, it was amazing. The food, the architecture, and the atmosphere. I loved all of it.
Do you prefer traveling alone or with others?
Definitely with others. It's just more fun when you can share the experience with them. And let's be real, it's way easier to get good photos that way.
Can you tell me about your daily routine?
Yeah, my routine consists of waking up every morning, taking my children to school, and then once I drop them off, I usually come back home and start work at 9 a.m., pick them up around 3, and the rest of the day we just go with the flow.
Has your routine changed much over the years?
Definitely. I used to be more of a night owl, but now I really appreciate getting up early. I feel more productive in the mornings.
Do you think having a routine is important?
Yeah, I think it helps keep me grounded, especially when life gets hectic. I mean, having some structure gives me a sense of control of my day.
How often do you use technology during the day?
Honestly, probably more than I should. I use my phone constantly. For example, I use it for emails, navigation, and even reminders. I also use a laptop most of the day for work or even studying.
What's one piece of technology you couldn't live without?
I'd say my phone. It's a mini life organizer. It keeps me connected and it actually helps me manage everything from schedules to shopping lists. You name it, and it's there for me.
Do you think we rely too much on technology these days?
In some ways, yeah. It's made life more convenient, but at the same time, it's easy to get too dependent. Like even if I want to take a break, I still find myself scrolling mindlessly sometimes without even realizing it.
Describe a person who has inspired you. You should say who the person is, how you know them, what qualities they have, and explain why they inspire you.
I'd say one person who really inspired me is my oldest sister, Amina. She's about 10 years older than me, and honestly, I've looked up to her for as long as I can remember. She's always been super hardworking and very down to earth. I remember when she was in university and she was juggling all her classes, a part time job, and also helping out at home. She still managed to do very well in school, and that kind of work ethic really left an impression on me. What I admire most about her is how resilient she is. I would say there were times when things didn't go her way, like she once failed an exam, but instead of getting discouraged, she actually just kept going, studied harder, and even passed with a top score the next time. I think that kind of determination is something I can really try to learn from. Besides that, She's also a really kind person. She always goes out of her way to help others, and even if she's busy, she's always there for everyone. Now she works in healthcare and she's still volunteering on weekends, which I think says a lot about her. She's not famous or anything, but for me, she's a great example of someone who stays true to their values and always pushes forward no matter what. And that's something I find truly inspiring.
What qualities make someone a good role model?
I think someone who's a good role model should be genuine, consistent, and even respectful. It's not just about what they achieve, but how they treat others. Also, I think being authentic is really important. People can casually tell when someone's just pretending to be perfect, if you know what I mean.
Do you think celebrities are good role models?
Some of them, yes. There are some celebrities who use their platform to speak up about important matters, and I totally respect that. But others just focus on fame and materialism, which I don't think sets a good example. It depends on their actions, not just their popularity, in my opinion.
Are young people more influenced by family or famous people today?
Honestly, I think it's shifting more towards famous people, especially with social media. Teenagers often spend a lot of time watching influencers, so their values and behavior are actually shaped by what they see online. But still, I think parents and siblings do leave a deeper, more lasting impact in the long run.
How do schools and teachers influence young people?
Say massively. I mean, a good teacher can totally change the way a student sees themselves. I mean, they're not just teaching facts, they're teaching how to think, how to stay disciplined, and sometimes even how to believe in yourself. To be honest, I still remember some advice my teacher gave me in grade 10. It always stuck with me.
Is it important to be a role model even if you are not famous?
Absolutely. I think we're all role models to someone, whether it's a younger sibling, a classmate, or even a friend. The way we speak, behave, or even handle stress can influence others more than we actually realize. So, yeah, even small actions can set a positive example.
We are done the IELTS speaking exam. You may leave now.
I'm really into photography these days. It helps me relax. In other words, you really like it or you are very interested in it. It depends on the weather. Sometimes I bike to work, sometimes I take the bus. It depends means the situation can change based on different factors. Repeat after me. It depends on the weather. Sometimes I bike to work, sometimes I take the bus. Great work! I like going to the countryside once in a while. It's a nice change of scenery. A change of scenery means going to a different place to feel refreshed or take a break from routine. Repeat after me. I like going to the countryside once in a while. It's a nice change of scenery. Amazing. The market was such a lively atmosphere, especially on the weekends. Lively atmosphere means a place that is full of energy and lots is happening. Repeat after me. The market has such a lively atmosphere, especially on weekends. Great work. I enjoy reading books at night. It's the only time I get some peace and quiet. This means a calm, quiet environment that is very relaxing. Now repeat after me. I enjoy reading at night. Now repeat after me. I enjoy reading at night. It's the only time I get some peace and quiet.
That was great. I try to stick to a routine during exam season. It helps me stay focused. Stick to a routine means to follow a regular schedule or a set of habits. I try to stick to a routine during exam season. It helps me stay focused. Great work on that one. I usually sleep in on Sundays to catch up on rest. Sleep in means to wake up later than your usual schedule. Now I want you to repeat after me. I usually sleep in on Sundays to catch up on rest. Amazing work. I'm not really a fan of spicy food. I prefer something mild. I'm not really a fan of is a casual or polite way to say that you do not like something. Now repeat after me. I'm not really a fan of spicy food. I prefer something mild. Hey, amazing work on that. Camping's not really my thing. I prefer indoor activities. Not really my thing is something you don't enjoy or are really interested in. Now repeat after me. Camping's not really my thing. I prefer indoor activities. Great work. To be honest, I'm a bit nervous about the IELTS test. This is a phrase used to express your true opinion or feeling. Now repeat after me. To be honest, I'm a bit nervous about the IELTS test. Great. I'm big on healthy eating these days. Big on means something that you really like or care about. Now repeat after me. I'm big on healthy eating these days. Great work. I tend to study better at night. Tend to means you usually do something. Now I want you to repeat after me. I tend to study better at night. Bravo. Listening to music really takes my mind off things. This means to relax and forget about stress. Listening to music really takes my mind off things. I was over the moon when I passed my exam. This means to be extremely happy. And repeat after me. I was over the moon when I passed my exam. Amazing. Choosing between two great jobs was a tough call. A tough call means a difficult decision you had to make in your life. Now let's repeat this question. Choosing between two great jobs was a tough call. Great. Studying now will help me in the long run. In the long run pretty much means over a long period of time, you will see some benefit to it. Studying now will help me in the long run. Great work. He called me out of the blue after 5 years. Out of the blue means out of the ordinary or unexpectedly. So repeat after me. He called me out of the blue after 5 years. Great. I gave my brother a hand with his homework. Giving a hand to somebody means helping someone when they are in need. Now repeat after me. He called me out of the blue after 5 years. Great. And now I want you to repeat after me. I gave my brother a hand with his homework. And taking that free trip was a no brainer. A no brainer means a quick and easy decision to make. Now repeat after me. Taking that free trip was a no brainer. Great work. I had to pull an all nighter to finish my project. Pulling an all nighter means to stay awake all night to work or to study. I had to pull an all nighter to finish my project. Great work on that, guys. And if you like this video, then please make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, where are you from?
I'm from Burlington, a city just outside of Toronto. It's a city just outside of Toronto in Canada. It's a peaceful place with a lot of parks and shopping centers and of course my favorite Tim Hortons, which is everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. It's in every corner. I'm also originally from Burlington. I love that it's so diverse and you hear so many different languages when you walk through the malls or even when you get on the bus.
Yeah, you sure do. And the traffic is, well, let's not talk about that now.
Yeah, let's just keep it positive today. So, what do you do?
I work in cybersecurity. Basically, my job is to protect your data from getting breached online so your personal information is protected.
Oh, true story. I actually teach English, both in classrooms and online. I love helping students feel confident when they speak.
And she loves recording videos and dragging me into them, of course.
Yes, of course I do. I need your help from time to time. So, do you like your job?
Well, most days, yes. Um, I like problem solving and working from home, but staring at a screen for 8 hours straight is not really my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, same. I love teaching, but sometimes I just want to throw my laptop out the window and go live in a cabin alone.
Please don't. I'll miss the tea you make during your breaks.
You really know how to make me chuckle. So, what's your daily routine like?
Uh, it's okay. I usually wake up around 7 a.m., check emails, and then help the kids get ready for school. After that, I get home and it's work until about lunchtime, more work in the afternoon, and then maybe a walk in the evening if I survive the day.
Just like you said, if for me, mornings are actually a chaos. Breakfast, school drop off, and then teaching or even recording videos. I usually do admin work in the afternoon and I spend the evening making dinner or even trying to stop the kids from climbing on the furniture. So let's play a quick quiz. I'll say the IELTS speaking part one question, and you answer as naturally as possible. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go. No pressure at all, right?
Yeah, no pressure. So, do you enjoy living in your hometown?
I do. It's familiar, and most of our family is here. But I wouldn't mind moving somewhere warmer during winter, like anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. So, what do you usually do on the weekends?
On the weekends, I try to relax or go for a walk, sometimes hang out with family, or maybe catch up on a show. And of course, laundry, always laundry, never ends.
Yeah, laundry never ends. So, last question. Would you like to change your job in the future?
Maybe. I'd love to start my own business one day. Having your own business is just much more easier. Something creative where I don't have to deal with email chains that never end.
Yeah, that's all we could dream of one day, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Do you usually make plans every day? Yes, to be honest, I really think having a routine is so important because you are able to accomplish certain tasks throughout the day or certain tasks throughout the month, and you are able to achieve what you are working towards. Can you tell me about a latest plan you made recently? Yes, the latest plan I have made is I booked a ticket to Turkey sometime in April to go see my mother in Istanbul. So that is a big plan I am looking forward to. Does your hometown have any beautiful scenery? Yes, actually, Vancouver is a very beautiful city. Vancouver has so many beautiful mountainous views and it's a must see place. I highly recommend you to go visit visit Vancouver because the views are breathtaking. When you stay at a hotel, do you usually stay at one with scenic views? Yes, to be honest, when I stay in a hotel, especially all-inclusive resorts, I always make sure I have a beautiful view out of my balcony, especially an ocean view, because that breeze of the ocean is just so refreshing every morning. And are you someone who tells good jokes? To be honest, I'm not someone who tells good jokes, but honestly, I have a sister who plays the best pranks on people. How about your friends? Do they tell good jokes? Oh yeah, my friends are comedians. They are so good at pranking people and telling funny jokes. They always make me laugh. Do you like animals? And here's a sample response. Yes, I generally like animals. However, my preferences have evolved over time. For example, I used to really enjoy energetic dogs, but now I prefer more calm ones. In this response, the speaker actually maintains clarity and using simple vocabulary. Next up, we have the topic of art. So discussing art may seem a bit overwhelming for some, especially if it's really not your area of expertise. But personal opinions matter more than technical knowledge in the IELTS speaking test. So here's a sample response you could give to a question about painting and drawing. So let's say the examiner asks you, did you enjoy painting and drawing as a child? A great response you could give is, reflecting on my school years, I may admit that art wasn't really my strong suit. While I appreciate the beauty of paintings and sculptures, I never really felt particularly skilled in creating them. So as you see in this response, the speaker acknowledges their limitations in art, but actually articulates their thoughts clearly. And moving on to communication. Communication is a universal aspect of human interaction. We communicate on a daily basis, so this is a pretty common topic. Here's a sample response you can give for a question related to communication. Do you prefer writing letters or emails? While I appreciate the charm of handwritten letters, I actually find emails a lot more practical for everyday communication. But on special occasions like birthdays, holidays, or anniversaries, I still enjoy sending and receiving physical letters. So as you see in this response, the speaker actually shares their preference while acknowledging the merits of both forms of communication, which is written letters and email letters. So now let's talk about crime. Discussing crime could be challenging, but it actually provides an opportunity to express your opinions on law enforcement, such as police and higher authority, and societal norms. So here's an example question that we are going to look at. What are some common rules in your country, such as driving or public transport rules? So let's take a look at the response. There's often debate about the abundance of rules, particularly regarding traffic regulations. While some perceive these rules as necessary for safety, others often criticize them as excessive. So as you see in this response, the speaker actually addresses differing perspectives on rules in their country and demonstrating critical thinking. So let's proceed to culture. Remember that culture encompasses traditions, festivals, customs, actually shape society's identity. So take a careful look at this question about festivals. What are the significant festivals in your culture? Here's a great response. Festivals actually hold a special place in our cultural heritage, serving as occasions for celebration and community bonding. As you see in this response, the speaker actually highlights the cultural significance of festivals while emphasizing diversity. So let's continue on with the topic of education. Education is a fundamental aspect of personal development and societal progress. So here's a sample response to give to a question about high school. What subjects did you enjoy in high school? High school offered a diverse curriculum, but I found myself more drawn to subjects like literature and language studies. So in this response, the speaker actually discusses, the speaker, which is me, discusses their academic interests and the benefits of studying literature. So let's move on to the topic of entertainment. Entertainment actually encompasses a wide range of activities. So here's a sample question about going to the cinema. How often do you go to the cinema? And here's a great response. I don't go to the movie theaters as often as I used to. In this specific response, the speaker actually discusses their movie watching habits and the influence of streaming platforms. So next, we're actually going to explore the topic of family. So family dynamics and relationships are actually integral to personal well-being and cultural norms, and this is a topic you will likely be asked. So here's an example response about question related to family. Do you have a big family or a small family? Well, my family is relatively small, consisting of my parents, a sibling, and a few close relatives. So as you notice in this response, the speaker actually emphasizes the importance of a family bond. And let's proceed to the topic about food and farming. So food and farming are essential aspects of sustenance and cultural identity. And here's a great question. Here's a sample question you may be asked about cooking. Should children learn to cook at school? Absolutely. I think teaching children culinary skills not only promotes healthy eating habits, but also it instills a sense of independence and creativity. So continuing on with the issue on global issues. Global issues actually encompass socio-political challenges and environmental concerns such as global warming. What languages do you speak? As globalization accelerates, multilingualism becomes increasingly valuable for cross-cultural communication. So as you see in this response, the speaker actually acknowledges the importance of language diversity in an interconnected world, as we know the importance of language. Now let's discuss the topic of health. So health and well-being are actually paramount for a quality of life. So let's take a look at a sample question. Do you consider yourself a healthy person? And take a look at this response. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle is a priority for me, encompassing balanced nutrition, regular exercise, and sufficient sleep. So as you see in this response, it emphasizes the importance of holistic health practices for your overall wellness, right? So moving on to media. So media platforms shape public discourse and cultural narratives. Take a look at the sample question about newspapers. Do you think newspapers will still exist in the future? As digital media continues to evolve, traditional print newspapers face challenges in maintaining relevance. So, guys, I want you to really take a look at this response and think of how this response actually covers the technological innovations and the habits we have with where life is headed. So next, let's talk about money. So as you know, financial literacy and economic stability are essential in everyday life. So here's a sample response to a question about saving money. Are you saving for anything special at the moment? Currently, I'm actually focused on repaying a small loan which requires careful budgeting and financial planning. So, as you see in this response, we discussed the financial priorities and strategies for repaying our debt. So, proceeding to science and technology. So, have a look at this sample question you may get about your mobile phone. How often do you use your mobile phone? So, a great response I want you to carefully look at is mobile phones have actually become indispensable tools for communication and productivity in today's digital age. So, in this response, the speaker actually discusses the ability of mobile technologies and its role of facilitating daily activities. So, next, let's talk about space. So now let's talk about the space and the universe. So here is a question about stargazing and looking at stars. Do many people enjoy stargazing in your country? Take a look at this response. Yes, actually, a lot of people enjoy seeing the stars in the nighttime. There are so many people who actually climb the mountains in the evening to stargaze because it's such a beautiful sight. You are most likely to be asked a question about traveling or if you have any travel plans in the future. So let's say the examiner asks you a question like, when was the last time you took a vacation or you traveled? So a perfect band 9 answer would be actually during the Christmas holidays, my family and I took a trip to Egypt. Egypt was such an amazing travel destination because it's a mix of history and culture. What I really appreciated about Egypt is that they actually held on to all the historic sites, and it's just so beautiful to visit. We're able to visit the pyramids and the gorgeous beaches in Alexandria. If I would recommend anyone a travel vacation, it would definitely be Egypt. So the next topic is sports. So I want you to remember that if the examiner asks you a question about sports, and if you play sports but you're not really interested in sports, how exactly would you answer this question? So let's say the examiner asks you a question like, do you like to play any sports? Actually, personally, I'm not really too fond of sports. However, my son really enjoys soccer. So I would call myself a soccer mom because I always make sure I take him to his games and I make sure I support him by sitting on the bleachers and cheering him on from the other end. Next topic is transportation. In this topic, the examiner may ask you a question like, what form of transportation do you use daily? A great answer you can give is, I actually commute to work every day by car. It takes me about 45 minutes to get to work, and I'm so thankful I am able to have a car because if I was not, my commute would be about 2 hours on the bus, which is a long time to spend on public transportation. Next topic is festivals. So festivals is a big one in IELTS speaking, and you are likely to be asked this topic. So make sure you understand what type of festivals you would be discussing if you did get a topic such as this. So what festivals do you enjoy celebrating in your country? A great band 9 answer would be, one festival I really enjoy celebrating is Eid. I really enjoy celebrating it because it actually brings families together. Everyone takes the day off work. We exchange gifts, wear our best clothes, and we give money to the kids. It's really nice because you get to see relatives you haven't seen throughout the year just because of the hustle and bustle of life. And I would definitely say Eid is my favorite holiday of the whole year. Can you describe your job to me? The best answer you could give is, I'm actually a graphic designer by profession. During my day, I actually make logos for my clients and different flyers, which help them advertise their companies. And what I really enjoy is these clients actually allow me to give my suggestions to them on different colors or themes that they could use throughout their business cards or flyers. And I find my job very exciting because I am actually able to bring out a creative side of me that I didn't know exist. So my job as a graphic designer is something I really enjoy doing.